Working on this remaining letter. Oh, by the way, one person actually caught it in the video, that the remaining letters left over from my Ken's Place sign spells out pain. If you look at it there, I think I got them all in frame now. You can't hardly see the I, it's behind that chainsaw, but it's up there, P-A-I-N. No pain, no gain, man, you know. So there you go. And the letter actually spelled, the sign actually spelled appliances back in its day. So I had this S left over, and I decided to make something out of it. So what I have here is a little stack of these little block letters that I made up, and then I made up some other little letters. These I decided to cancel these out. I didn't like these. They were just too, I don't know, just too ordinary. So I decided to go for something a little different. And I'll show you what I went for. Here we go. We'll just put them up here on this sign. We'll put that there. I like the looks of that. And then we'll put this here. And we'll do something like this. Maybe like this, and like onto this. I don't know, might kind of angle them around a little, something kind of funky looking like that. I don't know, maybe just straight up. We'll see. I'll play around with that a little bit, get the spacing just right, and then we will start placing these little block letters on there. And start out with this one about there. And like so. And like so. And like so. And there you have it. I don't know if I can get that. Maybe if I get up on that ladder, and give you a look at it and get it all in frame. Well, I still can't get it all in frame, but anyway, you get the idea. So that's what I had in mind when there, if I hold the camera high enough. When I saw that S, I thought, well, what can I do with that S? So I thought, aha! I had an aha moment and came up with this idea, and that's how he spells it right over there. On that lift it says Mr. HevyShevy, and he spelled it H-E-V-Y. So I think I'm going to see. I got some of these letters upside down. I actually kind of ground them down. One side's kind of smoothed up. Knocked a little rust off because not everybody is as fond of rust as I am. So, so anyway, there you have it. And now I'm going to have to keep this video under wraps until I send this off to Mr. HevyShevy. And I don't know if he'll want to put it on the back side of his shop or something. I don't know, side of the shop maybe, or I don't know if he's got room inside, but anyway, he can hang it on a tree out in the woods, whatever. Or he can take it apart and make something else out of it. I don't care. Some way to hang it. I'll leave that up to the master fabricator, to the real fabricator, to figure out how to mount it on the wall or on the tree or wherever he decides to mount it. Well, this is the base that's going to hold the entire sign, and I've cut a piece of metal, a wide piece, to fit down inside this letter, and then that draws up and it's going to sandwich this end piece in between those two pieces of metal. Yeah, I was wondering if this yellow paint might have been a little too girly for old Chevaholic, but here in my shop, but he hasn't said nothing yet. Guess he's not put off too put off by it. Alright, that's enough of that. Well, I have positioned these letters around in different configurations, patterns, and I'm thinking I'm kind of liking this one the best. Kind of trying to decide if I want any space between those, or if I want them together, and if I want some space in here. And I think it's nice to have just a little space between the S and the H. I don't know. Some people say that I have an artistic eye. If I could just figure out which eye that is, I'd use it. Nobody's ever said I have two artistic eyes. I shut one eye, I'm afraid I'll get it all wrong. Well, I think I'm going to run with that. And I believe my next little task will be to build some, rip this a few times, make some strips and cut it in half, and then bend those and make some little L brackets and weld onto here and up through here, and then some here, and then a couple of straight pieces to bridge over these narrow spots. Not exactly how I'll do that yet, but maybe run one this way, and then this is pretty solid here. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. And that way it won't show up. Just some narrow strips will not show up, you know, half inch or so. Will not show up when you're looking at it from the other side. Not too much anyway. And it would be really easy to backlight this thing too, like I did with my sign on the wall. Well, we'll see what happens. So if I set that, my guide, at 3/4 of an inch, then that's going to give me, taking into account the width of this, that'll give me about a half inch strip. And I think that's what I want, because that's some pretty substantial metal that's pretty thick. A half inch would be plenty wide enough to support those little letters, so I'm going to rip that with the plasma cutter. Here in my little third hand, my little handy vise that you have to be very, very careful with. Some of you have been around long enough to know that the guy cut the end of his finger off in that thing one day messing around up here. Shouldn't have been messing with it, but he was, and he won't mess with it again, probably. Crank the amps up a little bit thicker metal than I've been cutting. Allowances for that. Okay. Guess don't have any pliers out here. Nice. Man, that thing makes a clean cut. I just love that plasma cutter. Nothing wrong with that. Just right. I'll rip a couple more of them. Well, I pieced those letters together on the back side with some support and shot some rivets into that. That old S is still kind of floppy, so I don't know how Mr. Heavy's going to secure that, but I'll leave it for him to figure out. Actually, if it's hanging from here and up against the wall, it ain't going to go nowhere anyway. I got a hole in it here, and it should be pretty good, but there's the heavy part. I kind of like how that turned out. That looks all right, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and put the mister up here and the heavy down here and call her good. Throw it in the mail. Well, looking at this, I'm not quite happy with this. I like the block letters, I'm good with that. But there's two issues here. I'm okay with this. I like the mister, that's good. I kind of stacked those one on top of the other, and I kind of like the looks of that. That'll be okay. And but I'm not liking these little letters in the middle there that say heavy, and I just think they need to be something more substantial. Those are just a little too small and wimpy, and I don't know. I think they need to be bigger like these, and even if they, even if they hung over the edge a little bit, I don't think that'd do anything. Yeah, we need to get something a little heavy duty here going on. Well, when I back off and look at that, what my little old hillbilly artistic eye tells me is that since these letters are attached, then this whole thing should be attached to the S and not be offset. If these letters had a space between them, then that would be okay. But since they're connected, this should be connected to that so that it looks like one word instead of an S and then another word. And I ran that thought past my son and his friend when they were up here, and they agreed with me. And so that means I'm going to cut that loose on the back and redo it. I'm going to cut those welds loose. It's attached in 3 places down there on that bar on the bottom, so I'm going to cut that loose and slide that over a little bit and weld it back up. And another thing that I noticed now that I have it together is that Y is leaning a little. It's tilted a little bit this way. It needs to be straightened up a bit. You can see it runs off there on the very end, so that's killing me. I just can't handle it. I can't stand it. I could have stood it, so I'm going to have to cut that off on the back too. Well, and here, yeah, probably just cut that bar in half and tilt this back up the way it should be and weld it back. So, Mr. HevyShevy, it's not going to be perfect because I built it, and I don't build things perfect. Matter of fact, I'm a little embarrassed to even send this to the master fabricator, but I'm going to because I want you to have it, and then you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to sand it down, I'm going to shoot some clear coat on it because I just think that'll give it a cool look. But if you want to sand it off and paint it, if you want to take those letters off and do something else, you do whatever you want with it. I'm going to ship that off to you, and you'll see this video someday after after you've already received it. But what I'm getting at is you just feel free to do whatever you like with it. So I guess that's all. I'm going to go to work and get that cut loose and moved over and straighten up that Y, and then I'll probably go ahead and cut this off to probably at the end of the letter so that it looks like it's just kind of written out on a line there. Okay, enough about that.